Good morning and welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton, and today's daily. I'm bringing you today's West Ham daily. And my word, you're just waking up and there's this so much news coming out of West Ham right now. We're on the 11th of January, and honestly, you couldn't write it. It's when we do these shows week in and week out, and every single morning, or every single day, you just are bombarded with so much news. So again, it's just to tell you and kind of put the disclaimer out there that, okay, we titled it Antonio and Dawson wanted by Wolves, and we'll come on to that in a second. But it's information that's been passed out to the world's web and the world, and everyone gets to do it. So we're reporting on it and letting you know what the reports are saying, and equally trying to judge it and see would this really be an option. So we'll get started on it in a second, but if you are new around here, please make sure you do go and hit that cheeky subscribe button. We're on a march towards 20,000 subscribers, so by hitting that button, that will give us a helping hand. There is a bell notification as well that will notify you when our shows do go live, so please hit that. Leave a comment, give us your honest feedback, hit the thumbs up as well. We are appreciating all of the support from you guys. Anyway, now let me get on to some of the stories coming out, and I suppose the main one, which is Wolves have made West Ham striker Michail Antonio a transfer target in January, according to several reports. Now, West Ham and Wolves take on each other at the weekend in a massive game, and Wolves currently sit in 19th place in the Premier League and are set to be active in the market this month to improve on their season so far. They've only netted 11 times in the league during the campaign, with Daniel Podence and Ruben Neves being their joint top scorers on just 4 goals each. And Ruben Neves is currently linked to other clubs as well. And with goals clearly limited, Julien Lopetegui, the Wolves manager, could look to make a move for Antonio in the coming weeks. Now, the Wolves boss has highlighted that the 32-year-old as someone who would improve their attack for the rest of the season. Antonio, who scored 5 goals in all competitions for West Ham so far this season, with 2 of them coming in the league. He is in his 8th season at West Ham, and he is our record goal scorer in the Premier League with 58 goals. And he may not be the only West Ham player heading to Wolves in this window as well. But really, would we sell Michail Antonio to Wolves? Would that not be a crazy decision if you consider where we are in the league? I mean, listen, I love Antonio. He's definitely not the article that he once was, obviously because of his age. But Wolves are struggling, and he is coming to the end of his career. So if West Ham could generate some funds for that could then push on and maybe, listen, I don't know, but will it change the whole dynamics? I don't know. But Wolves don't have a natural centre forward, and Wolves do have Adama Traore, who's the winger who goes forward. He's a brute strength, and Antonio's kind of similar in his strength ability as well. So if Raul Jimenez, who's linked to be leaving the club, was to go, then they would have to be looking at a replacement. And I suppose someone like Antonio would be an ideal replacement, who's got Premier League history and obviously got 58 goals for West Ham in the Premier League as well. It's just the thought of maybe linking Antonio out of the club doesn't sit right somehow. But he doesn't have a huge amount of time left in his contract, so West Ham could generate a reasonable fee, a really good fee for a player who's got Premier League experience as well. So it's definitely one to watch, and obviously they've put a big "I want you" sticker right on the back of Antonio, so that will be interesting to see. I mean, listen, we could be a whole host of other players that they could have been linked to and are looking at. Tommy Soucek as well could have been another one. He's not been in good form for West Ham this season. He came into a fair amount of criticism from fans, and there was some speculation about his future in the summer, and his stock has fallen quite considerably following his first season or two with the club. And it might just be time for a change for Tommy Soucek. But Wolves don't really have a player like him, and he's previously shown his capabilities in going from the box to box. And more recently, Soucek has been playing in that kind of more advanced role in front of Declan Rice and Paqueta. But to be honest, I can't see David Moyes selling his main man, Tommy Soucek, to a Premier League rival. Another player that I thought he may have looked at getting rid of to Wolves would have been Darren Randolph, because it was reported that Wolves were looking at signing a new goalkeeper in January. And now that Sa has firmly established himself as a number one at Wolves, Sarkic is currently his deputy, but it looks like they're looking to bring someone else in. And it's not a priority for Wolves this month, but it's something the club are open to doing. So bringing someone else in to cover for Sa and then allow Sarkic to head out on loan again, that's something that they perhaps could work on. But it looks more and more likely that we are looking like that it's Antonio that's going to be the player that could be heading or linked, I should say, to Wolverhampton Wanderers. But the biggest thing here is the Premier League rivals and the positions where West Ham and Wolves are in the league. What do we do? What do we do in these circumstances? Would it be ridiculous to do it? What could we generate as a fee? What do we do with that fee? Because we can't go into the rest of the season with just one striker. You know, when we're linked to Nesri, and I know Nesri's reportedly rejected West Ham, but if we were to sell Michail Antonio and not have backup, then that really, for me, throws us back into the same situation we were about not having the support mechanism up top. We need more. I was quite excited about the thought of Nesri, Antonio and Scamacca all fighting and challenging and giving you the option to play two as well. So this is definitely one to watch for the future. And yeah, it'll be an interesting one. The next one, as we all know, which is Wolves are preparing for a bid and are looking to bring Craig Dawson in and tie up the deal for him in January. Now, several reports have said that they're ready to sign the centre-back as they did last summer. Deal was in place, as we know, but West Ham pulled the plug at the 11th hour as we failed to sign Benarek from Southampton. And it's been reported that West Ham, of course, would need to bring in cover before letting him go. Now, the manager for Wolves is very keen to add some support to his struggling defence, and it looks as though he's been given the green light to bring Dawson in. Now, several reports are saying that West Ham are open to offers for the 32-year-old. And like in the summer, West Ham would want to replace him, and he's only got 6 months left on his contract. So to generate a fee for the defender who has came into the club and been nothing but fantastic for us, but it's looking likely that he wants to move, which we know, back up north to be closer to his family. And so there is a good chance he will leave in this window. And West Ham will be looking to generate a fee. Listen, the guy's 32 years old and he is a cult hero at West Ham. So this one I can see happening. It's just the fact that they're going to swoop for the two players and try and bring them both in. That definitely makes it very, very interesting, doesn't it? So, you know, Craig Dawson, Wolves, Antonio, Wolves. What do West Ham do if Antonio leaves the club and we haven't got another option in there to support Scamacca? You know, don't believe the rumours about Inter. I believe Inter Milan are probably interested in Scamacca. He ain't leaving the club though in this window, so don't worry about that. But my word, so much happening. There's so much going to keep happening over the coming weeks, I can imagine. But one thing we do know is that none of these players will leave before the Wolves game at the weekend. But things may start to take a turn and a twist after the game at the weekend. And we all know how big this game is. We all know how huge this game is. So, listen, I'll put it where I'm at. I'll tell you where I'm at. Craig Dawson goes. I'll hold my hands up and I'll say I judged you wrong from the moment you walked through the door at this club. I misjudged you and I was so underwhelmed, but I've been overwhelmed with what you've put on the park and what you've given to West Ham in your career. You've given me some of the best memories. You individually have given me some of the best memories. That headed goal against Lyon, and you're standing up to the opposition, any opposition that was put in your way, when you weren't brought in to be number one choice or number two choice. You were brought in to be backup, but you've given us so many fantastic memories, and you'll go down as the cult hero for West Ham for many a year to come. So thank you very much for your service. If you stay at the club to the end of the season, then so be it. But if you do get your move this January and West Ham generate a fee, then so be it. And we do need to go into the market and bring someone else in. Absolutely. And then next, when it comes to Antonio, if he does go, I think most West Ham fans will have this element of respect, massive amount of respect. How can we not? He's the Premier League's all-time goal scorer for West Ham, but he's the most unorthodox. He can't work out what he's going to do when he's on the ball, and albeit he's managed his injuries really well, it's just age has caught up with him, and more recently he's looked like he's been struggling on the park. So if West Ham can generate a reasonable fee for Antonio, then so be it. Like, thank you very much for your service. On you go to finish off your career as much as you can, as long as we bring someone else in to strengthen in that area, because then it could be the transition. This is the next part of West Ham transitioning, you know, clearing out some of the old school not dead wood, because they're not dead wood players, but players that have given really good service, but are maybe squad players, and we need to then move with the times. And if we are going to move with the times, then what does that mean for the fan base and back in Moyes as well? And what does that mean for West Ham going into the transfer market for January? So bear with it. Let us know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Stay safe. And of course, join me for later on for the Hammers headlines. Come on, you beautiful Irons.
Thank you.